now we're
Oh,
live.
we're connecting. And
Okay.
someone called Sandra joined. That's
Yes. Well,
exciting. Hi,
a bunch of
Sandra.
people joined. Hi,
Freya joined.
Sandra. Hi, Alex. Hi, Laura. Constance.
Okay, so now you have to start talking to me instead of all the people on the thing.
Yes. Hi, Plum. Hi.
Hi, Kevin. Hi, Kevin, darling. We're new friends. Can you explain the situation to everyone?
Yes. So I'm Kevin Fallon. I write Obsessed by Kevin Fallon, the new Substack. I work for the Daily Beast covering TV shows and
Yeah.
movies and celebrity nonsense. And we have recently met, and we're going to chat about the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
Tell people who might not know you about yourself.
So my name's Plum Sykes, and I am a fashion journalist and a novelist, but I just love writing and talking about fashion. I could talk about it till I'm blue in the face, as you can probably tell, Kevin. And literally, since I woke up this morning, because I'm in England, so I didn't actually watch the whole show last night because
Mhm.
it was a little bit late for me. And as you can tell, it's dark here. I have been glued to the screen, seeing who's wearing what. And I love the kind of cultural significance of it and what it says about people, what it says about their ambitions and everything. But I think we should get straight into it, Kevin, and start talking about who do you want to talk about first?
I think we should talk about a little birdie told me who is your favorite. It's Selena Gomez, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. I know everyone has seen the photos and watched
Yeah.
red carpet, but just in case, my very
Yeah.
sophisticated showing the
Um,
dress on screen.
so she's wearing Chanel. That dress took some Chanel Couture, which is obviously the highest end. That dress took something like 400 hours to make because they had
My
to
God.
sew in each feather, and then there's like beads and gems and all of these kind of things. And Chanel is the number one most sought after designer to wear right now if you're an actress. So if you get to wear Chanel to the Globes, it's like if you get the cover of American Vogue.
Is there like a competition among actresses,
Yes,
like a
yes.
Hunger Games for who gets to wear
Yes,
Chanel?
the Hunger Games of who gets to wear Chanel. And the thing is, because Chanel is structured very differently to LVMH or, Pinot's company, Gucci and all of that, it's a private company. They're not chasing shares and whatever. They can just dress a couple of people. So they dressed Selena Gomez and Rose Byrne. So I'm giving first place to Selena Gomez in that dress with the feathers because I thought it was so old Hollywood, but so modern at the same time. And it was so tasteful. And there were some people, Kevin, who I want to say, in the nicest possible way, did not look very tasteful last night because they piled on too much jewelry, too much makeup, too much dress. It's all about taking away. And Selena Gomez just got it right. It was just perfect, as did Rose Byrne, and she wore a green Chanel satin dress, and she looked absolutely amazing. Tom Sykes has just joined the chat. Can you believe it? Hello.
Space.
Um,
I want to
so
ask you something about Selena really quick because, and
yeah,
also I want to caveat all of this with obviously I know a lot about TV. I know a lot about movies.
yeah,
I do not know a lot about fashion,
I
which
can
is
tell.
why
That's okay.
you're.
That's okay.
Oh, you can tell. Very nice. Thank you. But I think I come from the perspective of just like the normal person watching these shows
Yeah,
and trying to figure out what in the
trying to.
hell
Yeah,
people are wearing. And
yeah.
my question about Selena Gomez, she like you said, she is old Hollywood glamour. She looks gorgeous, but she's also one of the younger of the A-listers on the red carpet. And I
Mm.
wonder if this dress, which I think she looks very mature, very grown up, but is it too matronly for her?
Oh, that's an interesting thing. Well, okay, I want to say two things. One is that she doesn't have a kind of supermodel figure, right? She's
Hmm.
not kind of tiny and skinny. So she's got to be careful what she's wearing on the red carpet. She's curvy. So if she dressed in something that was too kind of young or a bit sheer or a bit not structured, okay, so the structure thing is what makes it look more grown up. It's probably got a corset
Yeah.
inside. She could run the risk of not looking her absolute best. And I think that dress gave her the body that she wants. I don't know exactly how old she is, but she late 20s
I think she's
or
around 30.
30. 30 is
Yeah,
not, not that young in Hollywood. um,
true.
but also I have to say her show, Only Murders in the Building, is literally my favorite show on television right now.
I
It's
wish
genius.
my gripe
But if
about
you look,
all these award shows is that that show is so good and it's always nominated, and Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena are always nominated, never
mm,
wins a big award. Like it's about time that
mm.
show gets to be up there with a trophy.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy.
But and if you look at what she wears on the show, she never looks chic on the show. She always gets it
Yeah.
wrong. So I thought it was really interesting. She was the last I don't know what her personal style is like. She's the last person I expected to win my personal first prize at the Golden Globes, but she's won it. Also, Matthew Blasey, who is the new designer at Chanel, who's just come in, you know, that job is the biggest fashion job in the world apart from the Dior job. And these Globes are also a competition between Jonathan Anderson at Dior and Thomas Blasey at Chanel for whose runway stuff translates best onto the red carpet. And this time, I think Chanel won. I think
Mhm.
that there's a lot of Dior dresses, but they didn't photograph as well as the Chanel for some reason. So I'm sure that the Dior people will be looking at that. For example, um, oh gosh, sorry, what's she called? Jessie Buckley.
Oh,
Jessie
Jessie
Buckley,
Buckley.
who
Oh my
won
gosh.
everything. She was wearing a Dior couture dress, and I thought that was a bad choice for her because she's just had a baby, and to wear a
Yeah,
super pale color when you've
it
just had a
wasn't very
baby and
flattering.
an asymmetric sleeve that kept falling off.
I would hear.
I mean,
Yeah, that's not a very flattering look for her.
I just think overall it's too complicated a gown for her. And
And again,
apparently,
what
again,
again, like,
too old, Kevin.
right, the flower pattern on it, it looks very like Mother of the Bride to me.
Well, to me, it looks a little bit like when I lived in New York in 1997, we would go down to Pearl River and buy a chinoiserie dress for like $35 on on Canal Street. And the whole thing, it just doesn't quite work. But again, sometimes these people have fittings. It looks incredible. You're in the studio in Paris. The light's different. You're not on a red carpet with loads of flash bulbs going. I mean, what I think was interesting was that the people wearing black or white or who stayed the most simple, they kind of looked the best. Anyone who
Yeah,
had too much color or too much going on or too busy, which is very tempting to go, oh, I'm going to be bold and loud and wear red and all of that and get attention. You don't need to do that, those things. The simpler, the better. Who are we on
right.
to now?
And what's interesting about Jessie Buckley here is that she's winning every award, and I think she's going to win Best Actress at the Oscars,
I
and
think
it's
she will.
superb because Hamnet, her performance of that is so so good. So she's
Yeah.
been, walking every red carpet. She's had to wear a lot of gowns,
Mm,
and she really has, not just in my opinion, from what I've been reading online,
mm,
missed every time. I saw a tweet from
mm.
someone saying that uh, they showed a photo of her dress at the Critics' Choice Awards with the caption, "Jessie Buckley is addicted to not serving." Meaning she's addicted to looking terrible on red carpets. And I think this is another one where, I'm really excited for her to win the Oscar. I just hope that
Yeah.
she finds a way to level it up, to
Honestly,
find some sort of
she should
moment.
be in a black polo neck and black pants and high heels. She'd look amazing. She's very
Yeah,
beautiful. That's the thing. I think sometimes these girls, they're in the clutches of a studio. Then all these stylists come in. Then they're getting paid money by Dior or whoever it is to wear the gown. Instead of going, you know what? And this is going to segue nicely into my major point, Kevin, for tonight. Instead of going, you know what? I'm going to be like Pamela Anderson, and I'm just going to wear a white shirt because I look really, really fucking good in a white shirt and a white skirt. Have you got the picture? I
this is
mean,
Pamela.
she's got no makeup on because she famously now wears no makeup and she's like aged 80 or something and she looks incredible.
She's not that old. Let's be a little
Well,
fair.
she's not a baby, but it doesn't, the whole point is she is being her age.
Hmm.
And all of these other people who are getting it wrong, partly it's because they're not being themselves. So the clothes are wearing them, they're not wearing the clothes. Honestly, if I was Jessie Buckley's stylist, I'd literally have sent her in like the most expensive jeans and a polo neck and just turn the whole thing upside down. Like when Stella McCartney and Liv Tyler wore, t-shirts to the Met Ball and everyone goes mad for it. And it doesn't fit. There's not that spirit of rebellion among the young ones apart from, funnily enough, did you see what Mark? Oh, look, Pamela Anderson is 58. Someone just said, "Thank you for that." I
A
was
little shy
joking
of
about
80.
her. Yeah,
A little
I
shy
was
of 80.
joking. Like Mark Ronson wore
Oh, right.
like an orange anorak, and I was like, it's him. It's a bit of a weird thing,
Yeah,
but it's him. He's not
and it's
trying
for him because
to.
he's a music guy at the TV movie awards. So you want him to be wearing something that
Yeah,
has a cooler,
yeah,
relaxed vibe.
yeah, exactly. So I just think, isn't it interesting that Pamela Anderson, who was once kind of the, Playboy bunny, and she was the sexiest girl in the red swimsuit, she's become like the lightning rod for understated chic. And who would have thought that was going to happen? But
Yeah,
she's
this is
culturally
so
become very
sophisticated.
relevant.
Yeah,
Sorry, darling.
so sophisticated in this. And like I grew up with her being the va va voom sex symbol, and
Right,
this is just a very like
right.
chic, simple, but
Yeah.
very
And funnily
beautiful
enough,
look.
it's from Ferragamo, which is a sort of, heaven for someone like you who knows nothing about fashion. I'm going to
I know
explain
what
it.
Ferragamo is.
Really?
I wasn't
Well,
not under
okay,
a
well,
rock.
our younger viewers might not, because it's a very old-fashioned Italian house. You know, they don't have, young actresses wearing it. It's just really chic, good quality Italian clothes. And again, I think it's really interesting that she wore something that's a bit uncool. And there she is looking really cool. And I remember, when I would look at women kind of older than me working at American Vogue, like Toni Goodman and Grace Coddington, people like that, they always just wore like a black shirt and black jeans, or a navy shirt and navy jeans, or, they were the most simple. And that's how we all wanted to look when we got
And it's
older.
like looks really expensive. Like she looks more luxurious in
Classy.
this white shirt and a white skirt than some of these people do in these
Right.
elaborate gowns.
Yeah, and some of those gowns would be costing to make them 20 or $30,000, but they look, it's too much,
Yeah,
it's too much. Should we talk about Jennifer Lawrence, because she's a very controversial one, isn't she?
she is, and it's something that I'm a huge fan of hers, and I think she has
Me too.
the best personality, and she gives the best interviews and has the most entertaining press tours of any actor. I love whenever she's up for award season because it means you're going to see her and
Mm,
listen to her be so funny for so long. But this
mhm.
look that she did, it's so again, as someone who follows her for a long time, so out of character for her. Like it's
Oh,
this
is
like
it
not
very
like
out of character? That's so
yeah,
interesting. So
she
in
this is
that
so
photo,
revealing.
you
So
can
nothing
see
that you
how
normally wear.
Yeah, you can see how badly it photographs, right?
Yeah.
Because it's sheer net and it's all embroidered. And then, I mean, actually, the fabric is completely exquisite. It's by Givenchy, which is designed by Sarah Burton, who was the Alexander McQueen designer. And then it's got this amazing sort of shawl that's wrapped around her shoulders. But I think she should have worn a nude slip underneath, and then it would have looked perfect. I think she was too daring, and I think it backfired. I don't think that it's her. I agree with you. It's not like a California girl look at all. It's
Yeah.
for
I
a
get the impression from
supermodel.
this that like she had like a epiphany that like, oh, my body looks really great right now, so I'm going to wear something revealing. Why not?
Yeah,
Which I support and embrace, but
yeah,
maybe in a classier version of this dress, it just looks
yeah.
so sloppy to me.
And the thing is, again, when you see the video of her walking around the dinner and she's in it, it looks amazing. I'm sure it looked amazing in real life. It would have looked so sexy and all the rest of it. But in a photograph, those dresses that are sheer, I just leave it to the supermodels. I mean, there was a Met Ball when in fact Kim Kardashian's worn new dresses to the Met Ball, as did J-Lo, where you can see everything. And you're just kind of, you're like, yeah, you've got an amazing body, but we know that.
Yeah.
You
Like I
don't
wonder,
have to.
was this like some sort of like rebranding for her or something that she's wanted to be looked at in a different way as a sex symbol? Because, like I said, it's so out of character for her to wear a look like that.
How old is she?
She's in her early 30s.
Gosh, she's really young, isn't she?
Yeah,
She's done well for her age. Wow. Um, yes, I do. Look, I do think that the clothes can be a rebrand, sometimes successfully and sometimes less successfully. But I don't think that Jennifer Lawrence is a girl who suits edgy fashion. She's a girl
right.
who suits like California girl, like a wonderful slip dress or whatever. And so wearing a very edgy Parisian couture piece, again, not quite her.
Yeah. And for a good reason.
She'd look amazing in something much simpler and plainer. And I go back to this thing like the girl, you're gonna have to pronounce this for me,
Renata Rensva.
Renata Rensva, who was in a fringe silver Vuitton dress. And she's pretty young and it was sleeveless. The most beautiful shape, unbelievably simple. I don't think she had any jewelry on at all. It was just this incredible fringe dress. She looked amazing because it was so simple, but anything busy as well in photographs doesn't photograph very well.
Renata is in the same category to me as Rose Byrne, who you mentioned earlier, in this beautiful green
She
silk
looks
dress.
so good in that. So
Both the
good.
two,
Very simple.
Renata and Rose, are both actresses who are drop dead, stunningly gorgeous, have
Mm,
just like the most perfect movie star faces to be on screen,
yeah,
and and they have impeccable fashion sense. They always look perfect on our carpets. But the thing that I think makes them special is that they always show up, and it feels like they're being understated. Like they're like, "Oh, me looking
yeah.
fabulous? Oh,
Yeah,
how
because
crazy!"
they're really serious actresses and
Yeah,
it's like their craft is what they're really there for. Another one who I thought was giving that vibe was Sarah Snook, who I don't think I mentioned to you before, but she was wearing a long dress, long sleeves, uh kind of black lace, very plain, very simple, looked very relaxed, like she was kind of having fun and excited to be there. She wasn't covered in jewelry and it wasn't, I can't even remember what brand it is now, but Rose Byrne, Renata, Sarah Snook, they're amazing actresses and they don't need to play the fashion game in the same way. They're just doing it as
yeah.
it feels like it's an afterthought for them.
Yeah, and that's what they perfected, this thing of like, oh, I happen to be the most talented, versatile actress working today who gives nothing but stellar performances in movies that everyone
Yeah.
loves and
And
gives great
Chanel wants
reviews.
them to wear their
And I'm
dress.
gonna walk this red carpet and look suddenly beautiful and just make it seem like no effort
Effortless.
means any of it.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
special skill for an actress to have.
Yeah. And also it's about choosing the right team because Rose Byrne is styled by Kate Young, who worked at Vogue actually while I was at Vogue. And Kate Young is impeccably chic. She works a lot with Chanel. And you know, if you've got someone around you helping you, telling you you don't need to do like the great big fireworks and everything, it gives you the confidence to do that understated thing. And of course, the people who are more understated are the standouts.
Yeah.
Um,
And I want to talk about someone who is never understated
Go
and
on.
who is
Okay.
always trying to put out to light fireworks on the red carpet. And as much as I love her, and this is a person who I defend and will defend till my dying day,
Yeah.
my tomb will be the epitaph will read in defense of Jennifer Lopez.
Oh,
Um,
okay. That's interesting you say that. Okay. I mean,
but I cannot defend this.
no,
this is this
no.
is worst looks, I think.
And was it made by, I've written it down, was it made by Elie Saab or not? Was it made by Charo, Jean-Louis Charo, who is a French house. I mean, to me, it sort of smacks of I was paid a lot to wear this.
Oh, really?
Mm,
Because it seems it's so misguided to me. First of all, she's
mm,
the person who has the most perfect body in the universe, and she's doing this sheer look.
yeah,
But the mesh is baggy and it folds in weird places,
yeah.
almost like you sort of can tell it's sheer, but not really unless you look really
I
close.
know, I
But when I'm
know.
looking at this photo, like, I don't know if you can see it through here, there's wrinkles and folds all
Mm,
over that mesh lining that do
it's just not good.
it's nothing for, again, the person who has the most banging body in the
I know,
world and makes her look frumpy. Like, I
I
don't get
know,
it.
I know. It's so strange. But you know, J Lo slightly has always dressed a bit like that. Like that, it is kind of in her style to
Yes.
sort of dress like that. I mean, she's always had that kind of slightly Latin, you know, very flamboyant. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I agree, she's got an amazing body. She should just show up in a leotard.
I mean, which is what she does on stage and looks fabulous, just like walk down the red carpet like that.
Yeah.
Also,
I
I just want
thought
to say the
I
crime
also
to me of this award season is that Jennifer Lopez is not being nominated for her performance in the movie Kiss of the Spider Woman. She is fantastic in that movie. If you're on this chat, please watch it. She is playing like an old Hollywood musical, movie musical,
Oh, amazing.
and she
Yeah,
sings and dances her ass off in this movie. And it's just this like firecracker, fantastic performance. Everyone who like sort of rolls their eyes about JLo as an actress needs to watch this movie because she's that good in it. So I
yeah,
wish she was
that's so
walking the carpet
interesting.
in support of that movie, not just to be there, but
Yeah,
but
because,
she was
I
there and
didn't,
she was terrible.
I mean, this is something we were discussing yesterday, but, with J-Lo, I didn't know why she was at the Golden Globes. I didn't know she was in a movie. And we were talking yesterday about how relevant are these award shows when movies are seeming at the moment, I hope it's not forever, to be less relevant. Like the shows that were on Netflix, like Obsessed and sorry, on TV and The Studio,
Mhm.
we've all watched them. A lot of the movies, I actually had barely heard of them, let
Yeah,
alone
and it's
see
a
them,
funny
which
thing.
is ridiculous.
I think the most famous person who walked the red carpet this year is probably Timothy Chalamet.
Mm,
Um, and he won, in my opinion, deservedly for the movie Marty Supreme. And he's been everywhere these last few months.
everywhere,
Um,
yeah.
he was even on the top of the Sphere in Las Vegas doing some press thing.
Oh my
But the amount
gosh.
of people who haven't even bothered to watch the movie of the most famous person in Hollywood right now is really
Mm.
interesting to me and makes
Also,
me.
why do you think he was wearing chrome hearts?
I don't, here, yeah, here's a photo of his look.
Mm.
He's an
Again,
interesting one.
I feel a little bit like he's becoming a bit of a brand slut, maybe.
Maybe he's
Because,
interesting because he tries so hard to embody this idea of being the cool it boy movie star, which I
yeah,
guess is a little bit of an edge to it. But he also is so desperate to be taken seriously by critics, by the Academy,
mm,
by awards voters, and so he's sort
mm.
of like lost in this
Yeah, he
land.
does seem a bit lost. And the clothes with him, they veer so wildly from like the orange suit and then this, and then, when he was Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, which of course I have seen because of my children. I love that film. I've seen it about 3 times. He showed up in the pink Tom Ford velvet suit, it was dark pink. He looked absolutely incredible. And it almost felt like he'd found his style. And now I think he's lost his style. And if you think about Chrome Hearts, for example, no one would wear that head to toe.
Yeah.
No one. You'd wear one piece. You'd wear the suede jacket or the waistcoat or the jeans. But so I think he must have been paid a lot of money, but I may be wrong. I may be wrong.
What do you think of his significant other Kylie Jenner? What do you think of her outfit?
I thought that she looked really amazing. I mean, I think that she's she's a tiny bit tacky, obviously.
Yes.
um, but you can't fault that outfit that she was wearing. It was kind of extraordinary. It looked like it was molded to her body. I mean, she is someone who really knows what to wear that speaks to who she is in
Hmm.
a way that some of the others, I think, don't. I mean, and remember, she's not an actress. She's a salesperson of her own brand, of her own beauty, of her own body. So that's all she's concentrating on. So
Yeah.
she should get it right. She should get it right.
And in a way, like I feel like she has the biggest challenge at shows like this because
Mm,
people have this preconceived notion and certainly judgment of her and her family and the way that she typically portrays herself to the world. And
mm,
she's suddenly at this show with esteemed actors and
mm,
cinema people and
mm,
needs to be taken seriously and respected, especially if she wants to help her partner
mm.
be taken seriously and respected by these people too. So I can't imagine what it's like for her to think about like, what is my brand, which is typically very sexy and
Yeah,
revealing
yeah,
and all those things, but then also feel like, well, how do I spin that brand to something that won't
yeah,
embarrass me and my partner
yeah.
at a fancy award show like this?
Yeah, no, I don't think she embarrassed anyone. I thought she looked amazing. I did think that, like, I think probably being there as the plus one must be quite odd for her.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
So used to
But
attention, yes.
you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but are actors allowed to bring a plus one? Do they normally bring a plus one, or can they only bring a plus one if they're with like Kylie Jenner? Can they bring a plus one if their wife is
So
just
the
any
rule
old
is
person?
if you are a nominee, you automatically get a plus one.
Oh,
So
okay,
every nominated actor gets to bring a guest. If
right,
you are just a presenter or an attendee, you don't get to bring your plus one unless you happen to be dating someone super famous, in which case they
right,
are all invited with you. So
right.
like a random person from Marty Supreme who's not nominated is not getting a plus one,
Yeah,
but but Timothy is because he is nominated, and even if he wasn't, they still want Kylie there,
of
so she
course. Yeah,
invited.
yeah. Because I mean, she brings so much press. But why do you think that he didn't mention her in the speech, unlike in last time he did?
I think he got so much attention for that last time that in a way that I think probably overshadowed his
Mm,
work
mm,
and discussion about the movie. And he
mm,
probably is operating with the strategy of we need to bring the conversation back to my craft, to my acting, to how good this movie is, because I
mm,
really want that Oscar. I have never seen a person thirstier for an Oscar than I have
mm,
with Timothy Chalamet. So I
mm.
think because every headline after the Critics' Choice Awards was about Kylie, literally it's all anyone talked about. People
Oh,
wouldn't even,
okay.
probably didn't even mention the movie Marty Supreme in all their write-ups. So I think he probably
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, we got all that attention last time. I'm gonna not
Mm,
talk about her this time and see if
mm.
people will instead focus on me and my acting, so I can finally
Yeah.
get that Oscar that I keep working so hard for."
Yeah, and what did you think of it as a show? Because you obviously watched the whole thing. I've watched little snippets. What did you
To
think?
me, I feel a little bit like a Goldilocks because the Golden Globes used to be um, pretty much like derided by serious people because the voters were corrupt. They took
Mm,
bribes. They basically voted for people based on who was the most famous and who they wanted to like see on screen and sit next to and take selfies with at the show.
right,
Uh,
right, right.
it was known as being like Hollywood's most drunken night, and it was
Yeah.
messy and silly. So it wasn't taken very seriously. And then they went through a lot of reform, and
Mm,
now the winners are great. They have good tastes. The show
yeah.
is very like professionally produced, but
Yeah.
it's also very buttoned up and boring
Yeah.
now.
I thought it was a bit. I
So
mean,
even though like I used to be like this show needs to become more serious if it deserves this place that we give it in pop.
mm,
But now that it is more serious, I'm kind of like, well, I kind of miss it when it was a drunken mess. So
yeah,
I was a
yeah.
little honestly bored last night, to be honest.
Yeah, because I felt like Nikki Glaser, it was a very sanitized kind of bit of comedy, and I thought the roastings that she gave people were not, you know,
Yeah.
they weren't really roasting, and or they weren't really great jokes. They weren't really great jokes.
Is that we've gotten to the point now where her roasting last night was considered by the barometer of what we accept now to be like dangerous and edgy and
Really?
like, oh, I can't believe she went there. When it was, when you compare it to someone like Ricky Gervais,
Oh, yeah,
so much safer and with a dull blade.
yeah. No, it's very safe. Also, what did you think of her coming dressed as Gwyneth Paltrow at the Oscars in the pink dress?
Didn't I did not clock that reference, but now that I look at it,
Yeah.
it really
And
is.
then and you know what? I don't know who made that dress. I couldn't find out who made that dress. And then she changed into the red dress with
Hmm.
the red dress was bizarre.
Yeah, I like this one way better. And also, if you look at
Yeah.
the photos on the red carpet, she's like spinning around and dancing and throwing the skirt. She felt clearly beautiful in it. And I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. Like, you need to feel so good in what you're
Yeah.
wearing. That's 90% of selling a look and making a best dress
Yeah.
list is a
Yeah.
person feels so good in it. And that's
Yeah.
the vibe that I got with this pink dress. And I thought,
Yeah.
did her monologue in that red one that had the huge slit. Um, she just
And
like
it
looks.
had like padding at the waist, and it made
Yeah,
her waist and bosoms look amazing. But again, it was a very odd dress. I mean, I did think that some of them, the dresses were almost a little bit too like I'm at the Oscars. It like you were saying,
yeah,
it used to be looser and hipper, and that's why I really like Zoe Kravitz. Have we got a picture of Zoe Kravitz,
me too. It's right here.
who I think should get first prize for looking just cooler than cool. And that
Yeah.
that is an Yves Saint Laurent sort of crepe de chine pale pink slip dress. It's not a very good photograph, actually. That it looked really good in some of the other photographs with this lace at the top, very kind of retro, very 90s. Looked like she just kind of walked down to a flea market in Santa Monica and bought it and thrown it on, and their two tattoos. And I just think she's got great style. Um,
And you're
and
right,
that's
it
to me
fits the
what the
vibe.
Globe's vibe
Uh,
is.
like the Globes used to be like, we can take it easier here. We can feel comfortable
Yeah,
taking a shot and
yeah,
mingling with each other and not having to feel like we're in this huge gown with a train and
exactly.
like
That's what
and
that's
she
what
got
I was surprised by, and that's why I feel like, it was so interesting seeing that the cooler ones were like the Pamela Andersons, who were 58, not the younger ones who were in their 20s, who were too done up and too trussed up and too,
I think there's too
too
much
dressy.
pressure now to um be taken seriously because there's such a small window for an actor to actually capitalize on
Mm,
their big moment. And
mm,
so because of that, I think they immediately try to sit at the big kids table and
mm,
wear the overly serious fashion and not have fun with it the way that people used
mm.
to. Um,
But do you think I have this slight sense that the award show is like a sort of almost a separate thing to all of the movies and that whole industry. Like that whole movie industry seems like disassociated from it somehow. So afterwards, we all talk about the dresses and the actors, whatever. We don't know what movies they're in.
yeah. I mean, the two actresses who won Best Actress were Jessie Buckley for Hamnet and Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Two
Yeah,
movies that I think combined have made $12 at the box office.
really,
Like,
really.
like no one has seen these movies besides people who vote for awards. And I can attest that those are two brilliant performances and they both
Mm,
deserved to win. And
mm,
everyone should find these movies and watch them. But you're right,
mm,
we're in a situation where no one watches the movies, no one really cares about award shows because they haven't seen the movies. So all we're left
mm.
with is talking about J-Lo and her sheer dress.
But you see, that's true. That's true. But I also think the Barbie, Saltburn, those kind of viral things. And I think Wuthering Heights, which is coming in like a month or something, and then The Devil Wears Prada 2, I think that will take people back to cinemas because those are pop culture moments. Like somehow Emerald Fennell is this thing. She's like a phenomenon where everyone wants to go and see that movie. And it's not an original thing to go, I'm going to remake Wuthering Heights after all. Doesn't need
Hmm.
to be remade, but because it's her,
Yeah. And the
I'll go
awkward
to the
thing
cinema to see that.
And the awkward thing last night was the one movie that was nominated for so many awards and that everyone has seen, at least in the US. Everyone saw Sinners. It was a huge deal here.
Mm,
Everyone and they went to the movies to see it. They didn't wait till it was streaming. They went to the
mm.
theater to see
Mm,
Sinners. And
mm,
the only award that was given on TV was the made up award for biggest box office success. Like
right.
that's the award they basically invented a few years ago just so that they could on TV give awards to movies like Sinners and to Barbie, which weren't winning the other things. So also
Mm,
like what are we doing when the one movie that people cared about, the one movie that people actually saw, is not considered good enough by
mm.
awards voters to actually win real awards?
Yeah, I don't know is the answer to that.
Yeah, they have to literally invent a way to reward it. Otherwise, it would not
Mm,
be on screen at all
mm,
during the movies.
mm, mm. Exactly. It's incredible, isn't it? It's incredible. Well, Kevin, I think our time is up, my darling.
It is.
I'm going to have to go, but this
Hopefully
has
this
been
isn't
amazing fun. I've
Yes, this
absolutely
won't be
loved
the
it.
last of our conversations, I hope.
No, definitely not. We've got to continue it. And thank you everyone who came and watched. And by the way, there's one question that someone asked in the comments that I wanted to answer, which I failed to answer. Someone said, have you noticed that the clothes aren't fitting properly or the corsets are not fitting properly? Yes, person who mentioned that. Absolutely true. Some of the clothes are not fitting correctly, and that is a disaster.
All right. Well,
Anyway, Kevin, it's been super fun. Thank you so much.
yes, thank you. This was great. Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Bye. Bye.